things are about to get a little bit worse for NV. First map was 16-6
for
NaVi. Yeah, it could be. It's going to be on Train.
Okay.
And we talked about Train being one of the better maps for NaVi.
It's true. They didn't really get to play it at all, though, Katowice. I think they played it once against Virtus Pro. They actually won that, to be fair. Yeah. It's a map people normally veto against them. They are very good on it historically. It's normally that double orb presence from Guardian and Simple. That's something to behold, on paper especially.
That's
right?
the thing. We see them with Guardian and Simple sometimes forcing the double up. On Train, it's entirely viable.
Oh, for sure. This is one of the maps where it's a go-to strategy. You can have that swing player and connector rotating between the inner and outer bomb sites. Another AWPer is always effective over towards Ivy. He can help with Pop Dog. He can spot T mid, and he can spot down vines. So
yeah, just to elaborate on your point there, like NaVi are known to force by double orbs on a lot of maps, especially Cobble, which is like something that's the reason I would say why they got so weak on that map, because every single time someone could buy it, it was actually losing them rounds, and they didn't ever seem to adjust. But on Train, definitely, I would go double orb every single time you have the opportunity to it.
Yeah, and so we're certain we're going to be able to see that at NaVi. And I know, Chad, you have a clip that
I do have a clip. This is, we were talking about the explosions that NaVi have brought into their game. This is an example of that. So they are sending 3 members towards the inner bomb site straight away in this clip, and they want to basically explode. This is a low utility round, and what they're doing is they're taking advantage of the fact that CTs normally play 1 player inside on their own. Now Guardian will throw this flash, and we're going to see 3 players, Simple, Edward, and Flamey, all bust out high ramp and take ground. The flash that Guardian is throwing is not for Taco in this. It's not to stop him from having vision. It's to stop the CT rotator, which is usually an AWPer. In this case, it's Fur. He's not there at the time, but the idea is that flash gets him. The high ramp players push out, take a lot of ground, take the duel as that AWPer comes unflashed, gets the frag, and is able to collapse onto the inside player, in this case Taco, which they do. Edward's going to grab this kill on Fur, and the bomb site's all theirs with 1 flash used. Normally you see, teams using a lot of utility, smokes, flashes, Molotovs on that inside bomb site, and that's a telegraph play. The CTs already know to rotate. In that case, they've already taken the bomb site before the CTs know what's going on. Yeah,
that's a really cool play, actually. I love that. Flashbang list is very simple execution. Towards the upper ramp as well means it's not so congested towards the lower ramp. You can't get stopped really by the Molotov. That's going to be focused towards that area. You've got the bird's eye view of the site. You can see connector as well. You're not just a straight line shot for the CT. So that's actually quite an interesting little execution there.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the smoke's outside to even keep for outside rotating, cheating that way before even it comes back towards inner. So, yeah, I mean, that just highlights, that's against SK as well. That's one of the better teams in the world, especially a team who is one of the better teams in the world specifically on this map. So that's no slouches that NaVi is able to execute that perfectly on. So, yeah, this is why I say this could get much, much worse for NaVi.
Yeah, well,
I mean, for
yeah. But something that at NV, well, at least Scream anyway, they basically innovated, or at least I saw them innovating, was the passive rifle play on the boost in CD connector. He's so good at that spot. They let them execute. They let him get out in the E-box or the back of the 5 train, and he just starts to hammer headshots from that point in. He's so effective at that, and it means the rest of the team can play quite a passive setup, playing the old bomb/heaven area in the cutout. They can be very reserved in the way that they address their CT hold.
Now, do we think that, starting on the T side for NaVi, this is one thing that might get NV back into this game at the very least, is that they get the easier side first?
More rounds for sure. They actually did well against Hellraisers. They beat them 16-10, who Hellraisers just beat Kinguin on Train on the B stream. Yeah,
that's a good point. This is still one of the few maps we have in CSGO that's still, I'd say, very CT-sided. Nuke was to an extent, but now it's obviously balancing out. It's about 50-50 right now. So starting CT-side on this map is always very beneficial if that's going to be happening going forward. But NaVi's T-side is not exactly bad. They're very good. This is like, they're very good at this one. It's one of the maps where Guardian's very influential indeed. He'll go towards the main entrance at the start. No one's really going to out-duel in that position, especially in the form we just saw right now as well. And that's an interesting question for EnVyUs. Do they really have an AWPer right now that can go toe-to-toe with him?
Well, that's going to be the question that we're going to find out as this game is about to go live. So we're going to give it over to Pansy and Uber, your casters for Train.
And here we go. Excuse me. Map number 2 of this, well, it's best of 2, I guess, or 2 best of 1s. Doesn't matter which way you want to put it. The fact is, it's Train. NaVi look good. A map that used to be in EnVy's wheelhouse to a degree, but this is not the same team. And they're definitely not on the same level that they were back when it was that superstar lineup we knew and loved.
Yeah, for me, all eyes on NaVi. What do they bring? What do they have? You know, how robust are they going to be? It looked decent for NaVi on their Inferno. It seems like everyone individually is certainly there. So this could add insult to injury for EnVyUs. These guys, they've had moments on this map. They've said that they liked it previously in different lineups. So big showing for these boys. They need to stabilize here for themselves. But ooh, this is a little spicy. Hello. Oh, is this the connector?
Oh, my.
A deep connect smoke. That is lovely. You see it done the other way around almost, but this just perfectly allows them in, but only to be seen by Scream, which is still a problem they have to overcome.
Yeah, I know we're a multi-phase Scream at the moment, but RPK's already there to help out, and this is just carnage, and it's EnVyUs that are all over it. The bomb's on the ramp. Seas is going to have to go down. No, it's on the bomb side, in fact. Of all... Okay, it's like pause, record, scratch. You're probably wondering how I got here. Well... Scream happened, the rest of my team got completely decimated, but Seas at least able to make amends in a small way. A USP is what he trades into. Pristine, unfired, all the bullets where they need to be, and problem is, they need to be delivered. Flash himself through. Oh no, it was a decoy. Either way, Happy's going to catch him as he comes down, and that's going to be that. EnVyUs, a very strong hold on the B side to start things off.
Yeah, very, very nice. I like the approach from NaVi, though. I thought it was quite a nice idea what they had. I like the smoke, but, you know, you still have to overcome the players, isn't it? It's all good and well to have the perfectly theory-crafted piece, but you still got to land the shots at the end of the day and try and get past players like Scream and such and so on. So, let's see what NaVi have now for us next. It's certainly not over yet, so, you know, let's not get too worried. These guys have such depth on this map. They can certainly go to it. And look at this, another set little piece coming out here. And, yeah...
Hey, future pros.
Yeah, future pros. Get into it. Get into this one. Maybe they've been watching Rush's tips. I doubt it. But the smoke's throughout the map. One up on top of the bomb tray means you can't peer up and over it, but that's a nice adjustment. Scream actually above it. Gets a perfect bit of a one-way there. Oh, that's insult to injury for these guys. Lovely bit of theory, but the practice, the putting it into practice doesn't quite work out. But still, now the other two try and make the assault towards B, and you can see how well that's going.
Deja vu to a degree here, as Scream now looks to challenge Guardian. He'd be the last man standing. Seized was felled in connector as he tried to make his way towards B. And again, not much for NaVi, getting picked off very early into the round. A great adjustment, like you said, on A.
And the thing is, they've had very few kills as well. So by the time they get to that gun round, I'm wondering how much they're going to actually have.
One kill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've just seized. So, yeah, this could be problematic. And for Envy, they're going to get that really nice, robust 4-buy. And this one, they can just stick on the SMGs. They know they're coming up against a very weak NaVi with only a flash to their name, which is going to be on C's. So, limited amount to be gained. I can imagine this. They're going to try and get a bit cheeky here. But Simple to be thwarted very quickly. Nice little flash up. And they're going to be pushing off the back of it. But there's 3 players waiting. But RPK... The tank just continues to roll with the MP9, spots one jumping away and scared there might be more holding the angle, and he's right to be feeling as so. Deep mollies, and they're not unrelenting. Look at that, Happy, straight up, gets the job done. Scream's done the same in the meantime, and NaVi just eyes on the gun round now.
Well, I mean, going to the gun round, it's not going to be fantastic money for NaVi, if I'm honest with you. Like I said, only 1 kill gained in the previous round, 1 here. 2 rounds out of 2 kills out of 3 rounds, should I say? So getting themselves some AKs by a little bit light, perhaps in utility. We'll see.
Very light.
Yeah, Edward could go for something here as well.
Yeah, no warp, obviously. Something the NaVi side certainly can utilize incredibly well. Just not this time. Oh, look at all those sprays. You made a mess on the floor, boys. God's sake. Who doesn't have the NaVi one as well?
It's like the stage after they cream pied Moses, that the cleaners looking on in dismay.
I was worried about what you were saying then. Sixer on the AWP.
There's no other way to put that verb.
All right. It looks like a bit of a hit coming in towards B. RPK is going to be the first port of call. He can molly out the lower ramp, force NaVi to then adjust eyes towards the upper side of things. Guardian could be sending out a pop flash or something of the such to try and alleviate some of the pressure, but they're playing ahead of it, and it actually doesn't even catch RPK, who again will stop it before it starts.
Not looking good for NaVi early in the round. Again, losing players before they can even hit a site. They've managed to establish themselves to a degree in Simple. Tapping away, fine Scream. He took a lot of damage for it, and that's an easy trade out for Happy. Now looking for another one here. This is getting messy, switching over to the pistol, but no, Guardian catches him out. A headshot with one of the few bullets he had left. That AWP for 6, it needs to come into effect here. But the bomb is down on XMS going in to do the dirty work.
All right, Seized, what have you got for us? Bomb's down for you. You've just heard one on the site. He's committed to the angle. XMS pushes off it, and now he's down to the 1v1. Sixer up against Seized. And Seized is going to back away from this for a sec. Just going to bank that Sixer wasn't going to fully do it. And here we go. He's going to leap into this one. He's peered out.
Are you for real? Are you for real? Sixer.
You're an animal. Love it. He's got it. He's got it. Last second available. All right, you know, if you're going to hold the AWP that Kenny S once held, it is the exact same AWP as well. It was traded over to him when Kenny left that side. You better be able to use it. And I think he's just proven he can.
The plane train has left the station, Lauren. 4 rounds to none for EnVyUs, and that was a decisive one there. That was when NaVi was going to buy in. Again, they can go for some AKs here. Still, obviously conspicuously lacking the AWP for Guardian. They're going to have to make do without it here. They've got a small amount of utility here just to tease the A side. Looks like they're going to hit the inner.
Yeah, and again, it's RPK. Waiting with that molly, goes down, nice and close, forces Flamey to run through it, and he's got, just perfect work from RPK. This is so nice, being able to isolate any player coming their way, and NaVi are just getting rinsed at the moment, if I'm completely honest. Quick rotate as well, you've got now Happy here, XMS here, leaving Scream and Sixer over towards A, so there's still someone to deal with C's. That's a beautiful addition. They just haven't been pulled off these sites.
NaVi might as well be wiping their butts with the money they're spending on these weapons, because it's actually going to do them more good at this stage. Again, struggling to access these sites. EnVy are holding them at arm's length. You've got players like Scream on A who are very hard to challenge at range. And then pushing on towards B. Can't even get a look in towards a site. Now NaVi have to make do with these 2 players. No flashes, no smokes, no nothing. Just, well, just the steely nerve. I was going to say something there. Point is, they managed to at least reduce EnVy's numbers by 1. But they've made no further inroads towards this site. Might try for Ivy here. This would be probably their last attempt of the round.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to make happen with this one. All right. Simple's got the bomb there. You got 2, I guess you got your 2 heavyweights still up. XMS sat in the corner. Simple. Onto the ladder, gets the angle, gets the shot.
That was nice.
And now things become a little possible. You've got to play by your bomb train, which is Sixer, but he can't stop this plant. And now you've got to think about Guardian. Where's his positioning? It's well adjusted for that. Sixer goes down, but Happy keeps it together. Happy with a nice play back into this one. He can recover the AWP if required if they want to get that back from Sixer's fallen corpse, or leave RPK to do so. Yeah, Diffuse going to come in really nicely done on the retake, but those 2 brought it back to a bit of a closer affair than it could have, it maybe possibly should have been.
Yeah, pulling right out of the inner bomb side of B, all around the map towards Ivy, and then trying to go for something there. The issue here, honestly, is that Flamey and Edward haven't gotten any kills yet. Now, it might seem very basic, FPS 101 kind of stuff here, but those 2 are often involved in those brute force pushes, whether it's out of T-Con or if it's that first peek on upper on that B side. They're losing those challenges. There are no entry frags coming from them, and the score reflects this inability to access these sites.
Yeah, and a bit of variation here. Well, I say that. I guess the individual is XMS being very aggressive over by Pop, just pushing up here. Sixer holding the slightest of angles. Going to see that go past. Flash comes in, times it well. He actually gets the leg onto Seized as well, so that's good for him. He's done a little bit of work there, can readjust off the angle, back away from it, and then kind of keep his mind as to what's going to be happening next. But beyond that, NaVi are hitting a bit of a brick wall at the moment, so they need to break back into this game.
They need to get an opening kill. I don't think NaVi have had any of the opening kills in these rounds so far. And that makes a big difference. If you look at the statistics for rounds 1 after opening kills, they're quite damning sometimes. That's a trade, at least. Simple drops. Edward, though, does manage to find RPK in the process.
Oh, that's big. Guardian swinging out here means a massive difference, but the aggression still was there. It was XMS before he was pushed up. He's already gone, but Scream was over by Pop as well. So still keeping tabs on this, and the bomb is in C's hands. So you've still got Happy over by B. You've got Sixer by the old bomb train, but Scream being removed. Now this gets interesting. Where do you put that bomb now? Where do you put these guys? Do you dare go towards B? There's still threats there. Would you prefer your chance against Sixer, possibly? Nice adjustment towards Flamey, and now he's got a good eye set towards that bomb coming out of... No, actually, the bomb's already crossed. It's on Electric. It's on the bomb site now, so Happy needs to come in. Yeah, timing is a bit of a bit of a bitch at that point, but what can you do? 2v2 retake time, and Seized has the angle. Okay, that's nice. Edward and Seized both have really good moments this round. You know, Edward on towards Screams. He went towards B, just a quick headshot with the AK. Happy doesn't like being in this position, but he still deals with C's pretty comfortably. He does have a kit, but he hasn't heard where Edward is. Still going to check the corner. The head goes rolling, and Happy completes the clutch. Beautifully done. 2 for him in the round, and they were the only 2 that mattered. EnVyUs continue to take strides out in front. It's 6-0. Look at the money on Happy as well. If he, I didn't even need the AWP, I guess. He can drop out anyone he wants to. A couple of players sitting around 4K. That's fine. He can just kind of roll the entirety of his team if he needs in this sort of situation as NaVi start to hit that. Bit of an annoying round. We haven't seen much from the AWPs from them. We haven't seen Guardian or Simple really starting to shine on this, and Flamey yet to get a kill. Normally the Rock as well for NaVi, you know, the player who's always Mr. Consistent. Had a very good last match. Yeah, exactly. If anything, he just seems to excel, but he never seems to have a bad game. But this is a strange one for him, not really making much impact, not having the chance to yet, maybe. Yeah. And Guardian managed to make his way out last time from from here, but look at this Scream walking down Ivy. This is huge information gathered. He's in a great position. Now they can adjust for this so well. They can pull the player off of B, but actually Edwards just walked out. Suddenly NaVi are out on the side, and they're wondering how this has happened so fast.
6 a second round in a row, he gets trashed by an AK player there. Peak a little bit too slow. Maybe the shot didn't come when it needed to. Now it's XMS again, extreme range. Still manages to get a little bit of damage across towards the site. Scream had the player lined up. This could be nasty. The spray down coming through. Only one, though. Flamey able to respond in time, and he gets another one. Now the blood's pumping as XMS. He's in the smoke, and no one's going to see what's left of him. One round here for NaVi being brought back. Still haven't had an AWP in this match. Won't have it this round, but at least they get on the board.
No, for NaVi, though, we could see Guardian dropped out over to the Opera. I think their teammate might have picked it up towards the end, so that could be nice. That could be fun to see. But it was a little bit surprising that Scream didn't get more then. Maybe as soon as the sprays get called into effect, he falls out of favor, you know, just the one tap.
Honestly, we actually see that sometimes with the A1S in some situations, especially when you're spraying down low leg in some situations. Not easy. I mean, it was a really good response from Flamey, because as soon as he turns to deal with Scream, he then turns back towards the side and frags another player on the side of EnVyUs. So it's quite a good response from him in general. Yeah, but again, it had to be NaVi make this very loosely supported by utility contact play on towards A, and just had to kind of go for it there and try and get the first frag and shake EnVy off their perch. It's going to take a lot more rounds than just the one here, but Guardian has had an AWP drop for him by Edward by the looks of things. All right, finally.
A little bit scary to use it in this sort of round, because EnVy, they like to get aggressive on these sort of things, and this is the smoke again that we saw before. Indicates that B hit's coming in, and there's a CZ waiting. This is a problem. Happy's got an AK now, and he's going to get the job done. Guardian gets absolutely decimated. Backs away Happy now. Gets flashed out. He can happily readjust, reset the complete picture of this round, and NaVi left in a shambles, 3 alive, but you've lost out on Guardian and Edward here.
NaVi just got torn limb from limb there from Happy. Look at the weapons that EnVyUs had to work with. They needed to play to someone in those close quarters with a pistol. And it was flawless from Happy. The second kill he completes with that AK and then knows to back away instead of potentially giving back that gun to NaVi, or at least preventing EnVyUs from using it later on in the round. The composure from Happy to get out of there and take a back position is just really impressive.
Yeah, it really is. Especially against players like Guardian as well, who always seems to deny that sort of play, always seems so aware. And at this point, though, EnVy are just waiting. Happy's still in the right place. That's the important factor for him, that if this hit actually comes into this site, at least he's here to play off the back of it. He does have RPK playing very close towards the site. They jump down towards the lower side of it, and now Happy gets the chance again. Happy is not letting this round go any other way than his so far. 2 remain. Simple on the AWP, though. That could swing it back.
It's going to have to. 2v4. Gets another one. Simple might be starting to make some work happen. Now he's up close and personal. Gets his third for the round, but XMS is going to be able to corral him into the corner and clean him up. He'll get himself an AWP if he wants it. And he does, but it may not be enough. It is. He flicks over towards Flamey. The opportunity was there, but he doesn't take it, and it slips through NaVi's hands yet again. They had the weapon advantage in this round, but Happy started things off beautifully. And then another AK kill further on in the fight. And Simple wasn't able to bring it back. And now NaVi, economy back in the dumpster.
That's really disastrous. I'm smiling about it, but I can assure you, NaVi are not. That's a round you don't lose in that fashion. You don't let them get away with it. Even if you look at Edward, I think he was sitting anti-flash, returned to try and avoid the flash, but it didn't matter. No one was playing off the back of it now. They just have to deal with being on these deagles. And to be fair, I've written NaVi out of these rounds before. I've said they're down on deagles, but we've all seen what they can do on occasion. And I love this sort of spell.
Look, if you're anti-flash without a player watching you, you've just turned your back on the enemy for no reason. So that's no real big deal. But Flamey recovers himself an M4. Even a smoke now, so allow him.
Don't doubt it, Mitch.
They can group up with this, I believe.
It's one of those where you just don't doubt it. Flamey fights.
Who's my fantasy team? Come on.
And now if you're in, you're like, all right, guys, all right, let's play this seriously, please, please. They've got deagles. We know what they can do. You've got Simple. You've got Guardian. It becomes treacherous, dangerous. Every corner contains someone with a hand cannon that seems to turn into an AWP at some point. Sixer, though, playing. Oh, my God, what is that? Misses the shot. That's a problem. That plays in Guardian. So now position noted. What can they do to do more? The bomb's still coming out of pop just about now. So that's going to get to site. Flamey's found Happy. Sixer is about as useful as a chocolate teapot at this point, but RPK at least going to find one. But of course, this is the round that NaVi win.
Of course they win it. Sixer had been kept busy for so long by Edward, I think it was early on with that AWP, while the rest of his team were cut down. Just shoulder peeks, not even actually peeking properly, but just making enough sound. Now the bomb is down. Sixer knows he has to get out. He's almost punished for that when he comes back for the peek. Gets Simple actually through the woodwork.
But look at C.
Oh, but you know, almost only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes, Lauren.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Do you know what, Navi? Just play Deagles. Just play on Deagles. Don't buy up. It's fine. But the big thing there is it's actually screwed the money for EnVy as well. Even though they were having so many rounds in their favor, they were quite close back and forward for a little while. So this is quite fun.
Yeah, you're mad if you're happy, by the way, because you got them out of the situation by going ham early.
And it's just like, guys, can you not
And then you
deal
lose
with
to
this?
anti-eco.
Yep.
Brilliant.
What are you going to do? All right, Navi. Game on, happy. You're not going to go away with it twice. Don't you dare.
Navi sitting
They're
well
like,
back.
nah,
That was a
all right.
welcome mat for him.
Yeah, it's like, don't do this.
Dry your shoes before you come in happy.
Simple's on the other side waiting for this. Edward's there further back in case he somehow walked past. But God, look at this. Navi so aware this is a possibility and happy doing just the same thing.
Having none of it.
I love it. Absolutely love a bit of this. They can pinch towards A quite nice. You've got the two players down Ivy as well. Guardian and C's being there going to be played into this. But there's still three players kind of around this spot. Scream, Sixter, and XMS. Now Happy's like, all right, they've learned.
Just not happening, mate.
They are learning. There's the flash, and there's this time Simple not falling for it. But oh dear, sweet Jesus, of course.
God.
How is this the way the game goes? Thank you, Flamey. Thank you very much for reminding me that rifles are meant to be more powerful than pistols. As Sixer's got his own rifle, but no armor to supplement it.
And so it should be. Guardian will catch him just as he tries to walk amongst the train tracks. Definitely a dangerous exercise. I don't recommend anyone tries that. 10 rounds in here. EnVyUs, that big lead they had earlier on now starting to be stunted a little bit. It's NaVi breaking back in. We've actually seen highly unstable economies between both of these two teams over the last couple of rounds, and that's what happens when you're winning these pistol forces, when you shouldn't be. And now, justifiably and reasonably, EnVy, this is actually going to be a second pistol force for them now. Rolling back. Well, it's only really been 1 year to roll back, but again, going for something aggressive here.
It's somewhat similar to what we saw last round if you look at where the players are and who's there. So Simple and Edward given the job of dealing with Happy and RPKO by B, and the split coming in towards Ivy as well. Guardian there joined by Seized, and then Flamey playing out of main. This is kind of just how they seem to like to play these rounds out. Don't really blame him. It's only really, the only vulnerability is Flamey, and I don't think you can call him that at this point if he's fully aware. Scream going to be forced to back away from this, and of course, lands a blinder. So there was the threat, there was the danger, and it has been capitalized on, but there's the response. Very clean, very crisp, and exactly what you'd be seeing if you're NaVi at this point. You want to be able to try and get back in this game, get back in as cleanly as possible, and they do get around with 4 alive as well. That's important.
All right, so EnVy, they've sat in the corner. They've worn the dunce cap for a couple of rounds. Now they're back. They're allowed to join the rest of the class. Going to buy a few of those weapons straight up and straight into double AWP here. Happy with one for himself. So a change of tact here for EnVyUs.
Yeah, EnVyUs, no one puts Envy in the corner. So Sixer, Happy on the orbs, double AWP. To be precise, something that most teams can go to on this, but we do have Sixer being probably the more dominant AWP if you want to look at it traditionally throughout the Envy side. Happy, very, very diligent as well. I like to take that over Kenny S on occasion. Let's remind ourselves of that one.
Yes, probably was a personal decision on Happy's part. But
Certainly an interesting way of playing it out. But it's the same approach from NaVi here, same sort of positions, and I wonder how long they can run this one without being kind of unraveled or worked out by EnVy.
So far, it's been NaVi do the unraveling, like your favorite Christmas sweater that you didn't actually want, that you pretend to your grandma that you like. And
Never had a Christmas sweater, Mitch. Do you know how much that upsets me?
Well, we don't do them in Australia because there's no reason. Yeah. Just doesn't
enough.
work. Maybe Matt's going to knit me one, producer. That'd be great.
Oh, if he can do one for both of us, that'd be really, really nice.
We survived this shocking German weather, which I despise. Anyway, Happy now in upper, so he's ready for this angle here. Simple. I don't know if he'll expect the AWP actually here, or at least the double AWP to be in play. Opens with the smoke.
Yeah, but eyes on Edward and Guardian as well.
Oh, come on! Come on!
Perfectly timed. Really nice job. The double AWPs are paying off and then some. This is EnVy holding them at arm's length. As soon as they got the money back into this, even though they had almost no utility left by this point in the round, they've recovered whatever's on the ground as well, so even better for them. Nice upgrades to the rifles too. They won the AKs, why not grab them? And there we have it. So EnVy readjust.
Clean round.
And yeah, clean as you like. So they get the perfect purchase now. kits galore, whatever you fancy, it's all yours. NaVi, though, they're fine for money. They can be dropped out if needed.
It's just a little bit weird, the discrepancy, I guess, on Simple's total and Guardians. They both had almost a 10K as opposed to the rest of their team. But regardless, they're able to spread that wealth a little bit around. You know, capitalism, Kappa. Double AWP, though, he is still in play for EnVyUs. Worked really well last round. Sometimes plays like that from Happy just can't guarantee it'll occur all the time. But when you get them, you're happy to. 8-4 now. Moments away from first contact here on B, I dare say. Is NaVi will want to set up a little bit.
But I like this. Happy's adjusted as well. He's not sitting for the same fight as he was last round. If he was, he'd be taking on Guardian. But he's got to be careful. He can't sit out too far over by connecting because Guardian can see it. But RPK is playing the site as well. So these two kind of adjusting off each other. I like small switch-ups, but this is going to be a very, very comprehensive hit from NaVi about to come in towards B. The smokes and flashes are going up right now. Happy still focused towards upper, but players are already pouring out towards side. RPK has to greet them at the door, and he's done just that with Happy in tow. Really well played out so far, but there's still Flamey and Simple alive that could maybe do something.
Tickle, it's just a fake for Flamey on the bomb site there. XMS, those taking down his last teammates now, and he's the face down from the left side. It is going to be Happy there. And Flamey will fall. And EnVyUs actually, to be fair, taking a leaf out of NaVi's book. And the double AWP on that CT side, almost signature in some ways, gives them an extreme amount of control over both of those sides at long range. Sixer, honestly, he's probably lost... He's got 6 deaths. I'd say 2 or 3 of those are failed challenges against AK players that we've actually seen on this half, or on this map in general. So he's been a little bit, great shots and then some average ons. Let's see how it works out now. Ivy is the name of the game here for NaVi.
Good luck, Sixer. Flash in, has to back the angle.
There it is.
3 players appear. He actually tagged Guardian, but the problem is there's so many there. What are you going to do? But an instant response from EnVyUs. They're not going to let that slip away numbers-wise. You're in a 4v3 still, and Scream is still taking the fights.
They could have pulled out of Ivy here because Simple has the site. He's moved in towards A. If you get out of Ivy, come back around through T-Con, let Simple get advanced positioning here on the site. Even just hide in the corner right up there on the left side of the screen, you can do something. But now, the bomb's... well, just outside of Ivy, and Simple needs to do something here because Guardian's pinned, and there's a smoke in his way.
Yeah, but Guardian wants to play out this as well. He's going to go, as soon as Simple made contact, he's going to take the fight as well. There it is. So he's going to find Scream while attentions were turned. And it's left in a 2v2, but RPK's position wasn't noted, and that's the big swing factor. Sure, Guardian's got the bomb, but he's got 53 seconds now. 1v2 to work out. And 16 HP is not going to allow you much.
He's got $350 dollary dues.
It's Guardian.
It's logic.
It's Guardian. He's...
well, I'm no economy major, but Guardian will probably think better of trying to YOLO Swaggins this one. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, let's see if he gets any play in the next 5 seconds odd. Otherwise, what are you going to do? The thing is, RPK's put himself in pop, which is a really hard angle to deal with. And there it is. Done, dusted, over. RPK shuts the book. And Envy, I've got to give them credit. After a little bit of a harsh time they had on the first map, they've recovered very, very nicely.
I just think their CT site's been really crisp. I definitely have one. Scream hasn't had a great match in general. His first map actually was really quite poor on Inferno. But RPK and Happy been playing really, really well.
Yep.
And that's, RPK and Happy, that lends itself to that B-side presence that EnVyUs have had on at least on this map on the CT side. Obviously, we saw some shenanigans from Happy earlier on. There's a bit of aggression, then the ridiculous smoke shots. So he's feeling pretty good. NaVi don't get to take Guardian's AWP into the last round of the half here, and they're going to have to settle for probably just Deagles, go UMP here or there. That's really all they can afford, and try and get some utility for a bit of MacGyver execute on towards one of these sides.
Yeah, normally on these sort of buys, you can just hit the B side, normally get the bomb down, but to be fair, the deadly duo of RPK and Happy has not even allowed that to happen.
Play
and
fast
Happy
contact.
still has the AWP as well, so it'd be quite hard for them to actually work their way back into this. But we'll see what NaVi can scrape together for the final round of the first half here in the second map. And a bit of a vital one for NaVi to get on the board. A 10-5 half isn't awful, but we know NaVi to have good T-sides. And that's what we're looking at. It's not the fact that it's perfectly recoverable from, it's the fact that you expect almost more from NaVi. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the CT side, I think, is what I really love about NaVi in general, but we need to see some strength in that first half of the match here. Sixer, 2 shots missed, a little bit excitable, a little bit flaky, but he gets one, won't get the second. Let's trade it out there as an AWP once the flames clear. But NaVi might not have that much time. They want to play fast and loose. Contact Counter-Strike up on this A side, and it's working like a charm. And XMS, throwing a spanner in the works.
Yeah, a bit of an unsung hero at times. This guy has came into this roster and he wasn't going to be a headliner at all, nor a big conversation piece. But at the moment, he's certainly pulling his own weight, and there it is, an 11-4 half. Envy, very robust. The double AWPs working out very nicely for them, at least on the happy end of things. And yeah, complete lockdown. NaVi, you've got to bring a better game on the second half.
I agree with you. I think Envy have been looking robust, Lauren. NaVi been looking rotund. Not ideal, but let's see what the second half has for us here as Train will come to a conclusion. Well, Lauren, suffice to say that Team EnVyUs are looking a little bit more comfortable on this particular map. Train's been good to them so far, and they've managed to amass themselves 11 CT side rounds coming into the half.
If you're NaVi, the pistol round now becomes paramount. They have to get that to get back in the game, to build up. Otherwise, you've got to feel that Envy can just run away with it at this sort of scoreline. It tilts so heavily in their favor. However, NaVi's CT side's nothing to be sneered at. You've got to feel as though we saw what they can do on Inferno just not too long ago. So, and this shot, let's just remember that little count to 3 and hit mouse 1. It worked out
just the timing
well.
was beautiful. No flick needed to be had. He held that angle. The things that I get excited about, Lauren. Doesn't take much, to be fair.
Apparently not, but the best part is, people like Guardian kind of made that a thing. I remember, he'd always tell you count to 3 and then you take the shot and generally you'd hit it. Or was at least very vocal about it. But yeah, this starts at the first round for NaVi. They need to open that window of opportunity very, very quickly. And it comes down to a good pistol round. They had so many nice theory-crafted ideas for their T side. You saw those kind of smokes in towards Deep Connector, playing off the back of it towards B, but it just didn't come through for them, which was the real problem. And then, of course, the double AWPs then came out to play for Envy after having such a clean run in the first couple of rounds. They really strung them together and made it hurt. So, this time, you've got to look at NaVi and hope that they can do the same thing.
Pistol round, obviously, for those maybe not too familiar with CS, very important here. NaVi lose a pistol round here. They're going to be staring down the barrel of match point before they can even get decent weapons into their hands. In fact, they're going to be forced to try and buy up for that. So all eyes, we're going to start there, and then we can start to expand a little bit upon what we'd expect to see in the later parts of this half if we even get there. But a couple smokes here, and Happy had one, Sixer had one. Flashes also to be used. It looks like it's going to be a push out of Pop Dog here on towards the site. Fast and loose play again from Envy. I like it. I like it a lot. But RPK having some problems. Can't connect, nor can Edward eventually until the first one comes through. Now it's a 2v2 in terms of those kills. 3 up for NaVi still, and now EnVyUs being shot from all angles.
Yeah, it's just super scrappy at the moment. Envy depending on the mayhem, and, well, it's just come back around. Happy! What is that shot on Edward? And now it's a 1v1 against C's. C's at least has an angle to work with here. He knows the Happy's over here somewhere. He knows the bomb's down, and C's is going to take matters into his own hands, and he deals with it. thank Christ for that.
I thought we were heading down another one of those ridiculous rounds here. I mean,
no more.
beautiful second shot for Happy there. I mean, the P250, the headshots of that are devastating as well. It's a very, very powerful pistol. So if you do have good aim, it can really send you a good step. Very close there, but NaVi get themselves that round, and they're straight into UMPs. No prisoners out there. Don't want to give Envy a look in. They've seen what Envy what Envy can do on his anti-eco rounds. They can cause big problems, and NaVi need to be steadfast now.
Eyes on how Envy approach this for me as well. You've already got C's looking for B information. Got to be careful, because XMS is on the other side of that too. He can back away from it at any point. A little bit of a couple of exchanges, and XMS comes out the victor of that. So now Flamey's very isolated at B. That might force Simple to play through connector, but it also might encourage Envy then to try and, turn the screws towards A, keep them guessing, keep them on their toes.
They get a UMP out of it, and that's why Flamey was actually posturing a little bit closer to Brown Holes just in case. The XMS, I think, got ahead of themselves and tried to grab that weapon. See, RPK has now picked it up. So it's, a piecemeal approach for EnVyUs now. One kill, get the gun, start to establish presence, then refresh your information. Re-establish your understanding of the positioning of NaVi, and then make an informed decision. So far, straight through the showers and in towards upper halls here. Edward is in a good position to throw the spanner in the works, but he might need to be a little bit quicker than this. I think EnVyUs are poised and ready to make the hit. 40 seconds at around, normally the hot spot in terms of time. We'll see what they can bring.
Yeah, they already rotated Simple very early,
Ooh.
and there's further additions. Oh, Edward's around the back as well.
They gotta
Gonna
go.
give away, it's just gonna force them down into the grinder here, and NaVi perfectly positioned, not gonna move out of the way of this one. RPK does at least find one, but it doesn't really matter. Hopefully they can recover the M4. No, doesn't fall back, but they'll be okay anyway. And this is what they needed, NaVi. It's a step-by-step to pull themselves back in this game. They need clean rounds. They need to be very, very aware and critical about how they're playing this one through, because otherwise, any small window of opportunity, and Envy can just run with what they get.
And I'm not certain what Envy were waiting for there in Brown Halls. They actually, I don't think they had a lot of utilities sort of been using. They wanted to set up there. If they maybe pulled the trigger at 40 seconds left in the round, I don't think Edward would have been able to flank in that particular way. And then they would just sort of put in a trash compactor. But now Simple flashes himself out.
He spied them as well.
Yep. Guardian going to come forward. Oh, okay. Back and forth trade. The Deagle doing work, and Happy finds his second. Okay. We've already had Inferno tonight, but maybe something special for us here on Train from Happy. Needs to get through Edward first, and the UMP, it's a capricious animal.
I don't know what to say, Mitch. I don't know what to say.
Okay, 6-8 gets an MP9 off that. Still doesn't really want to... Yeah, there it is again. So that flank coming through. The headshot! No, come on. Silence USP. 6-8 goes for the Glock. Seized was reloading. 6-8 had an opening, but you can't know those things in CS. You just have to go for it.
What is up with these rounds, Mitch?
Well, the problem is that...
What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. And Happy.
That's really nice. Really nice. Happy's just playing
Not breaking
at a level.
sweat.
Happy's playing at a level that we just sort of haven't seen for a little while. At least not in the old iteration of EnVyUs. It was a very different situation, and Happy's role in the team was arguably different. The way he worked with Devil, but this is nice. I'm enjoying it. But now the guns come in for EnVyUs. 5 AKs. And they hold themselves up mostly in Ivy for the moment here.
I'm hoping, if anything, now they know they're against a full buy now NaVi, they're just gonna be like, all right, let's not feed. That'd be really cool.
Well, EnVyUs are set up to receive CT aggression here.
Yeah.
See how they're positioned on the minimap. Quite passive in holding these angles.
Yeah, and look at Edward, Flamey, and Simple. Look how far pushed up these guys are. This is very aggressive, should I say? And having Simple here as well.
Yeah, individuals peeking from T-Con are going to get trashed by NaVi, so it's not a terrible idea.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's just, you're depending on that skill to hit the shots, and you're depending that it's not going to be a B hit with alert coming out.
Right, because going up
through
Hot Dog's going to get killed.
Yeah, so Guardian has 3 to handle, and he's pushing into it. And Guardian wins it out. And now he backs away. Nicely done from Guardian. Well played from him. Gets a little bit of damage. And then Flamey finds a little bit of work himself. But the flex, the push, down Ivy's actually worked out for Envy in the end. They don't know that it's a pretty clear run. Simple is playing from CT, kind of by the very deep stairs of it all. But they've got a nice avenue of attack. But NaVi are so aggressive, it's still hard to play out of this now for Envy.
Envy opt to give Guardian a ceremonial cremation, which prevents them from actually pushing on towards the site for a little bit. The Molotov hampering any further progress. Flamey catches XMS, walks out into the open. It's hard to know if they don't have information about the positions of players up on that ace site. Sixter has to bail them out here. He does find Simple. Wallbangs through the cart. He's low on health, but Happy can chip in here. Or not. He can check out.
All right, 6 is done. Edward going to pick it up. It's weird seeing wallbangs or like shooting underneath the trains. It probably showed up on the radar more than anything if you're wondering why I saw it, because the player model would show.
It's a little bit obscured to us trying to see it. On the,
it is, because we have the delight of X-ray, of course, which is a huge help, but very, very occasionally a small hindrance.
It can be a hindrance when you're trying to fathom why a player takes a particular shot,
Yeah.
based on the information he has. But
this is good from NaVi. The point being that EnVy have had very little play in this yet, and this looks just like a straight up just get B, try and get a plant. Screams with the bomb, so fourth in. Gonna have to try and get past Seized, Flamey, and now Edward's rotating. Good shot from Scream, but it doesn't matter. NaVi holding this down, and it's Flamey next in line, and they're just not getting to the bomb site. There's the bomb plant, completely out the window. Happy not going to get a bit of play at all. So they took down Seized, sure, but no bomb plant. That's probably what they're eyeing up here. More than likely to get it on the B site as well. And NaVi are almost level pegging now. We're at 9 to 11, so they brought this one back. But it's buy time for EnVy. So again, their second shot at it.
this is like OG NIP with Fiflaren when he didn't even want to AWP, you know, like 5 rifle style. EnVyUs don't opt to buy an op. They could have. Scream and Sixer could both have had one. They could have dropped it. They could do whatever they wanted for it, but it doesn't really lend itself to their style at the moment.
Double AWP for NaVi, though. Seized and Guardian going for it. Not simple. Huh. And Seized is soloing out on B. He's going to peek. I'm not sure if he's going to peek into it, but he's going to have to adjust soon because EnVy are making a massive hit towards that A bomb site. They're just pouring bodies
Really
in.
nice.
And it's worked out so well. Now, Edward's not all that alone. He's still got Guardian there, but Guardian can't be that useful. He's just smoked off completely. He could go around to a bomb train, but there could be a player there already. Seized, working back in through connector, but EnVy have the site under wraps for now.
EnVyUs got out onto the A side without taking any casualties. They got out, they spread, and they were a face as a multiple and not as single players. Huge difference to how the last few rounds have gone as they filtered in and been picked off one by one. Now, Guardian needs to get around this corner to find Scream. He's got to stop. He was committed to that one, had no other choice, but XMS is going to be able to shut him down. Seized as a Molotov here. XMS has no idea. He's just in the head. Surely tries to make the flick down. No. XMS managed to outfox him almost literally in terms of positioning, and that's not an easy shot to make. EnVyUs bring it back. And now they have themselves that AWP as well.
Yeah, this could be a nice bit of a change now. Six is having a very quiet game, though, in comparison to everyone else. He was just I hate to say it, but a bit average on the CT side, really. If you looked at Happy, he was excelling. You know, Six would sit in the average category, but this is a good chance for him.
6 and 6, I think, ironically enough.
yeah, so we'll see what he can maybe pull together into this one. NaVi putting a lot of bodies on the top of those trains. Some deep nades coming in towards Con. And Seized is going to hear this. Like, you got to be wondering what's going on. RPK's actually backed away from it as well. They're kind of worried about that smoke, and they're right to be so. There's a man waiting just on the other side of it.
Seized isn't going to see anything. EnVyUs pull out down Pop Dog, one down Brown Hole stairs, or down the stairs. So they pull completely out of that area. So this Ivy play is integral. It is central to this round. Now, should be a double face here, at least a triple. Guardian backs away, flash in. This will give him a peek or an escape. Looked like he hit the wall there, but was able to get into the smoke and back away. So now, EnVyUs need to go for something else unless they want to push through this smoke, which may well be the case. It might even be, you know, Scream stands anti-flash, gets flashed through and they push it, or they just wait. Because RPK and Six aren't exactly cooking up anything diabolical on that part of the map either.
The thing is, the Seized in this spot, they're so aware of the fact that EnVy aren't even looking towards B yet. There's so many bodies still heading over this way. He can just kind of chill out at this spot until he gets any sort of information or sound or any cue. He's fine, and it doesn't mean that NaVi get 4 players ready and waiting, but Simple missing a bit of a blinder. That's a problem. And now the rest of EnVy can just really apply the pressure. Flamey's still in a good spot, though, in between the two trains. He's going to make the most of that, and Edward shows him how it's done. And it's just down to Happy in a 1v2. You've got Seized finally making over from B towards Pop. Flamey on top of the green train. I don't think he's seen him. No, indeed. The call might come out eventually, but by this point, NaVi have the idea of what's going on, and Happy can't find the individual 1v1, and we are getting very close to a 12-12 scoreline.
That's fantastic recovery by Flamey. Faces out, 2 players down up on that side after, you know, Simple was flashed, or partially flashed, and his shots went to the chest of his opponent. He's got an M4A1S, fair enough, right? But they were down that one player, and that's go time. You trade 1 for 0 as that T side going forward, and Flamey had to go for something big there, and he did. I love it. I love it.
EnVy as well, you've got to be hitting a bit. Oh, this could be different, though. It's only Seized here early on. So they actually might be able to get onto the bomb site and get the bomb down. Not the case so far, and now the support's arrived. All right. There was a window of opportunity where they could have actually got a bomb plant, but Seized is having none of it. Look at that. Just so precise. really well played. Only a bit of an eco bash, but they deny the bomb plant more than anything. It's keeping EnVy's economy incredibly humble, rather than like coming back around with a nice little bit of an addition. 6 is still good, so we can get a nice AWP coming up here. They're going to get the good buy in this round, but they've never had that kind of additional money. They're not get away with any of those cheeky rounds they normally do. Only 1 round on this half so far. It's a bit of a disaster, to be fair. And NaVi was seeing why they're so good at this map on occasion. That CT side is very robust.
I've just surpassed Henry Greer in fantasy team standings, Lauren, and I want NaVi to go big. Henry Greer, who made a spreadsheet for his fantasy team, real
Don't need to rub it in.
Real keen.
Don't need to rub it in.
Went all in on G2 and it failed. Anyway, Guardian takes a bit of damage trying to challenge this out on Ivy. That angle from Happy, somehow the flick finds him though. Happy looked like he had the better of Guardian there. But the flick of the wrist gets the job done.
Yeah, XMS. Seeing if anyone's close by they can maybe pick up, but not to be. Molly goes out. They're still trying to sell that this is going to be somewhat of a B hit. You've still got Sixer and XMS here. That's forced Guardian to respect this. And look at Flamey and Simple as well, peeling off the angle. They're going to fall back from Aegis and Touch. Now, RPK and Scream can do something. They have the bomb. They've left that in spawn. What are you up to? There we go. Okay, RPK's picked it back up. I'm kind of wondering what they're doing. They're falling back to somewhat of, I guess, a default-ish hit. RPK.
There's only 1 smoke left on NaVi here, so, you know, things like Ivy, things like Pop Dog, I've only got 1 smoke to really use at this stage to stall. 50 seconds left in the round.
And yeah, NaVi haven't fallen for this. You've got Flamey playing by Electric, you've got Edward watching the back of Ivy. No one's there, but he can swing around and really help out quite quickly. And Simple still as well, in such a nice spot here for this. This becomes a problem. Flamey, if you get caught out, all right, it's game on, but 30 seconds, Flamey can just do all the damage in the world here.
Yeah, and there needs to be a T-Con double face here between Pop Dog and T-Con just to deal with Flamey.
Bomb, seen it.
EnVyUs are still setting up there. They get caught out. Flamey eventually does go down, as he well should. But it's a 3v4, and EnVyUs, the cats are well and truly out of the bag. And Edward and Simple chime in to get 1 apiece. Now it will be XMS to fall. It's even Stevens. It's 12-12, and NaVi have brought it back on their CT side.
Yeah, this is such nice play from a CT side of NaVi. Envy seem to just run out of steam, run out of ideas, and then it's just a book being read by the NaVi boys. You know, every single player is doing what they need to. You've seen Edward being a big linchpin towards that A site. Seems so consistent at stopping anything really falling apart, and the rest of them, it's very even. Like, no one's excelling beyond the others. Guardian's having a good game, sure, but it's every single player. As you look at Envy, you've got 2 players standing out that you don't normally see. Whereas Scream is like 14 kills at the moment. It's a bit of a weird one where you're having your big heavy hitters not being that. It's a bit different in that aspect. So for NaVi, you're happy though, because you're just being a well-rounded team. You've got a bit of money now building back up into this. You know, you've got 5K here on a couple of players, so they're fine. They're good. But overall, everything's fine in the NaVi camp. It's Envy, what do you do? What is your answer to this? Because they're having limited success on everything. They're failing to make NaVi over-rotate. They're not pulling them off the site. It's hard for them to find any sort of route into this one, where they're all, even at I guess an even... It's not an advantage. They can't get an advantage throughout the map at all.
Yes, but this happened in Inferno as well.
Yeah,
on EnVyUs' T side.
Yeah, you're right.
They would lose a player early in the round, had to face a man disadvantage, and then be stood for another minute before they decide to hit the sign, and they crumble and they do it. So, yeah, the thing is, right, with a newer team, when you push forward and get aggressive as well, sometimes you don't always have like a protocol instilled into your players, like a natural reaction. A good example actually is the 1v3 FaZe versus Dupree, right? Where it was on Nuke, lower levels, 2 FaZe players come out of ramps. Nico was up behind Dupree, and they go 1 at a time, right? They're just trying to win the round and force the game to continue and to keep themselves in it. But if there's a protocol already installed amongst those players, they sort of have this prior understanding of what they need to be doing in that situation, then you're going to have more options, and then it's going to be a little bit more easy to play fluid. So, yeah, I think it's Envy are being stunted by losing 1 or 2 players early in the round. They go, oh, this changes everything now. And it might take them a long time to access that plan B in the mental lexicon of CSGO strats to, decide how to make their next move.
No, exactly. And Train's a punishing map for that, right? Train in all aspects, especially on the T side, hitting on these sites and just, controlling the lines of sight, getting those full pieces of executes. It's very hard, and we don't really know EnVyUs' map pool yet.
No.
The fact they're on this map says something, right? You can ban out whatever you want to in theory, and then you kind of end up on whatever's left over. But the point is, they left it in, so you've got to be making an assumption that this is something they're looking at in the future maybe, but we don't know what their core points are yet. They're still a relatively new roster to this. We haven't seen masses from them, but they've had time to practice, they've had time to work on this. They haven't been at Katowice, they haven't been around the events recently, so if anything, this is their chance to really show us something that they've been working on. But right now they're down to pistols, so again, you know, it's the money game that's been pretty much hitting them incredibly hard at this point. Flash comes in, Guardian off the angle, but still, you're working uphill at this point. You've still got Simple to get past here down by the bottom of Ivy. And yeah, Guardian's just going to be making light work of that.
It's a nice tag team there as well. Sometimes some teams, Ivy setups to actually allow for that to occur, for there to be that tag team really comfortably installed. But still, RPK found Flamey. That grenade definitely lands home. Happy very low and then Simple able to get the job done. I
love that little adjustment. Oh, that was super nice. But yeah, there you go. Sees shuts it out, losing one player. Fine. Again, Navi's money just grows and grows and grows, gets more and more stable, up to almost 8K on players now. Edward sitting very comfortably. He's had a good game as well. He's been off the last man alive, just controlling anything that before it spiraled out. And finally, a decent buy, but again, no AWP coming out. Nothing for Happy to sit on, or Sixer, or anyone else for that matter. Whoever else feels like picking it up. But for me, I want to see more from these individuals. You know, I want to see Scream let off that leash and just go wild. But it's very hard. This map doesn't really allow for it as much anyway. But back we go. This is a very important round, and they need to get this one back. Otherwise, NaVi are in such a controlling position. And looking at this one, Simple boosting up towards the box. Over by Ivy, and C's doing this again. Incredible map control and information early on. He just gets to see everything. No one's here. All right, I can just solo this out.
Smoke is really nice for that.
Yeah, exactly. And he can solo this now. He can sit up by that box if he wants to, back away. It depends how he wants to play it. And look how aggressive the rest of NaVi are. You've got Flamey and Edward again, being such close contact points. We could probably go do the run boost over the top here, just to deny, I guess, anyone
and
a pick.
They forced EnVyUs now to play the Ivy game, the same game that they always play.
But look at this angle as well. The thing is that even with all these flashes, mollies, smokes, whatever they put down here, Simple will always come out on top and he can back away safely. This is the problem. No one checks this. It's not an angle you check all the time. Bit of a team flash actually hindered XMS there. Completely didn't blind Simple. And there's the dominance. They've got the bomb and Flamey's already supporting. Sixer gets met by Guardian, and this is NaVi just displaying real brilliance. Flamey feeds himself, Simple feeds himself to the flames in the end, but again, it's put Envy down to nothing. They're down to, 4K here in max. So what do you go for? Do you just go back in on UMPs maybe? Go for as many rifles as you can? You've got to try and do something. Yeah, I don't know. This is a very one-sided affair, and it's frustrating to watch because you can see NaVi now just enjoying it, right?
Sorry, it's a crap T-side from EnVyUs.
Yeah, it is.
One round they've gotten. And Henry G pointed this out specifically as well. He's like, NaVi don't have a bad T-side, but it's their CT side which teams find so hard to break. They like to play slow, they like to set up, establish, they like to receive. And that's exactly what they're doing now. And then they're going to send it back to EnVyUs as well. Very quickly, they close the round out, and that's going to bring up that match point. And EnVyUs just bought. They spent the money. They're on full loss bonus, but still sub 4K. Very little to work with here to keep themselves afloat in this match.
Yeah. This is interesting for Envy. T-side's not quite there yet.
I like that. That's the word Henry uses when he wants to say something else. Interesting.
I guess, yeah. I've already sworn enough this week, you know what I mean?
Oh, man.
That was because Flush was being good. I don't want to do it because someone's being bad. That's
you got to save it. You know, like there's a couple you can do before you get fired, so you really wait for
you got to
those moments.
make the moment count, right? So in this one, seized again, so good. So I wonder if he ever going to get punished for it. It'd be nice if Envy worked that out, but so far, nope. Spots it. Can he back away in time? They don't even pressure him that quickly. Seized, gets away with murder. He's just mollied down, denies everything. Now, NaVi have kind of responded. You've got 3 players over at B very early on. We haven't seen that a lot. We've seen kind of this like 4-1, C's getting complete rain. It's the first time we've really seen Envy even get control of this B side, or even just the Brown Halls. It's been such an uphill struggle.
And they've been given control of Brown Halls.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. It's not like they've really asserted themselves to a great degree. It was the player from NaVi that backed away at the time. Flamey, they were under threat. Yeah, a lot of damage going in towards him. Seized was there, but he still had to fall to XMS eventually. Flash in.
But I like the way Envy are pushing forward. They're not just sitting on the site or playing passive. They're pushing forward to try and take the challenges and bring this map into some sort of angles they can control. But it's still Simple, and there's nothing simple about what he's doing right now. He's pulling this one back to a situation that maybe Guardian can win here. Now, Guardian's heard Happy. He's got 2 of them. Now, oh my God, he's spot screaming. He knows where Happy is.
Do it big!
That is sick. What a beast of a player. Of course it's Guardian to close it out like that. As soon as Envy almost get around, it gets shut the hell down. GG.
I'm just getting my voice back. I felt it. Almost felt the certainty of that shot coming through from Guardian.
Yeah, you kind of do with him, though, don't you? That's the crazy part. It's like any other operator, like, I don't know if he's going to get it. Of course he does.
That soundbite is going to haunt me for the rest of my life, but my lord, it was worth it. Guardian, incredible stuff from him to seal things up here for Na'Vi. It's 2-0 over these two maps. EnVyUs getting a look in on Train, but it just wasn't enough. Now, over to Broses and the lads to take us through it.
Yes, thank you, Uber, and another heartbreak for Envy. A good start again for them. I mean, on Inferno, they started off 4-0 and just collapsed. This time, they had a massive lead after the first half, 11-4, boys. Everything was going their way. They were winning clutches, winning ecos, and it just gets decimated.
Yeah, they were winning all the clutches, to be fair. That was the kind of problem, really, for NaVi as a whole. They're actually managing to get it down to the 1v1 almost every single time, but they found themselves 7-0 down, but it wasn't actually a problem. We asked the question, can Six actually step as an AWP? The answer was yes in the first half. They actually looked pretty decent. They had a double AWP set up at one point as well with Happy. That was actually quite promising, I have to say. Second half comes in, though, and they look so flat. I think they pick up 1 round in total and couldn't actually do anything in terms of executions. The defaults were bad. They looked lost on the map.
Lack of map control on their T side. I think Lauren and Mitch were talking about it. They weren't getting the brown walls control. C's had all the information in the world. It makes it very easy when you know you can confidently play 4 players on that outside bomb site and no one has to rotate in to help your anchor. So, you know, they maybe need to look at that. They had the same issue on Inferno.
Yep.
The thing with the Na'Vi T side, right, when they did play VP in Poland, the rounds that they were winning was the rounds they shouldn't, like the pistol force buys. They had a couple of cool executes, or they got away with a couple of things that they maybe shouldn't have against VP. They didn't get any of those rounds here. You know, the ones that they won were hard-fought gun rounds, so that's why their T side looked a little bit underwhelming in comparison to more recent results. But their CT side, if you look at it, when they play the outside bomb site, if they're playing passive, they're all playing passive. You could basically draw a straight line from Ivy all the way across to CT Con to where these guys are playing. The back of the bomb train, stop. You've got a guy CT connector or up heaven, and then the Ivy player, of course, is the back of 6 area. And then when they play aggressive, they all go together. They had a round where they had 3 players up near Pop Dog. They had another round where they had 2 near Pop Dog, Guardian on top of a train peeking into T mid. When they do the yard aggression, they have all the information. They're not just picking one. They're going, well, we'll take it all. And it's very nice to see that they play that as such a unit, because other teams can be very disjointed. And
I think that's what we're going to take away from this EnVyUs team from both these maps we've seen is, you know, we talked about it, Henry, when we were watching the game, the round Edward pushes through Ivy. That's based off information gain, and that's based off the map control you don't have.
Yeah, that was actually perfect. That was a round where they had pistols. It was EnVyUs, but they went towards inside. They didn't have any map control anywhere, no spatial awareness at all. Edward comes around to T-spawn. You saw the rotation coming to CT at that point. Everyone goes stacked towards inside. A round they should be winning. They picked up a rifle. They had utility left over as well, but it's got completely shut down because they're not aware of their surroundings at that point. That was actually quite a key taking, I think, overall for EnVyUs. And they managed to actually win 3 pistols tonight and had that huge start. Yeah. And the second half just wasn't doing it for me at all. I couldn't see anything promising from that whatsoever.
Do we see anything from Na'Vi of them building upon, you know, getting better, improving something that they've been lacking in the past?
What I liked was the fact that it wasn't just matchup specific to the VP game, them having that Ivy aggression. It was here again that they did it, right? And it seems like it's a very good pressure point on the map for the CTs to be able to push and get a heap of information. And you could see Guardian over both maps being relatively aggressive with the AWP in certain situations where he shouldn't be, which is good because if he can get that spark, he seems to get rolling from it. So that's a positive in terms of the way that they play the CT side. It was the same of what I've seen, so not really any improvement, but good that they're continuing to be disciplined online.
Agree.
What's next for these guys? I mean, we now have Na'Vi who's you know up the standing boards of you know on this trying to start climbing up. They were at 11th to start the day. Now they're going to start moving up. Are we feeling a little bit better about them? They play for the rest of the season. They have a series against Fnatic, FaZe, and NIP coming up. So that's a tough stretch.
The next 4 games are going to be relatively difficult.
Especially against FaZe as well. I'm really liking the new complexion of them. The addition of Nico as well. They had a rough start in Pro League overall, but you have to say, like you mentioned earlier, when Nico was in Mouse Sports, he's managed to get them to the top of the table, right? Yeah. I'm sure he's going to be able to do similar sort of things for FaZe as well. Fnatic, I'm still pretty confident Navi should be picking that one up. Fnatic getting better, I think, but like they are starting to bring more strategies to their game. But overall, I still think Navi are the deeper team right now, but we'll see.
Navi have a really good run at the end of the season. LDLC, Mouse Sports, and Heroic. So we have a bit of a Mouse Sports that's
6 game stretch.
Nice little finale.
Yeah.
They had this amazing start in the last season of Pro League. They were up like 6-0, but didn't make it to the finals.
They had a tough
so this is a nice kind of flip reverse. They have this nice easy finish, almost easy, should be. Apart from Heroic maybe. But They should be making to the finals, I'm going to say.
Yeah, easy finish on the season, and easy finish at the end of that game as EnVy can only pick up one round in the second half. It does end 16-12. When we return, it's going to be that FaZe clan that Henry just mentioned facing off against NIP, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back with those games.